Did your parents or family want you to become an MMA fighter? How did that end up happening?
It was purely by accident that I started fighting. Like I said, never threw a punch before in my life. And what happened was I was a state champion wrestler, tri-sport athlete pretty much. I ended up tearing my ACL as a freshman at Punahou. I tore my ACL wrestling. And after that, I just felt like that was the end of my sports career. I had all these dreams of, being the first four-time wrestling state champion, going to college. I actually wanted to play basketball in college. My sister, Amelia, she was the point guard at UH. I knew when Vince Gu was her coach, and I knew that I wanted to play sports in college. But after that knee injury, it was really difficult for me to come back, especially with basketball. I just could not run anymore or cut. And I ended up re-tearing it. My junior year, I re-tore it against Honoka'a at States. It was the semis. And
those dragons.
Yeah. And I remember Keisha Kanakoa stole a ball from me. And so I'm running after her. She goes for a layup. And I just landed really weird and re-tore everything. So after that, it was just, I basically said, okay, I'm not going to play basketball anymore. I'm just going to finish out my wrestling season. And then, start the next chapter of my life, just being a full-time student. And so, I moved to San Diego, gained a lot of weight.
The freshman 15?
It was the freshman 30 for me.
Double it.
Yes, I doubled it. I was just super unhealthy. And I got up to 175.
Wow.
And just to give you a little context, I feel very comfortable talking about weights because that's literally my career. My career is to weigh a certain thing. But just for context, I currently fight, my weight class is 125. And I walk, if I'm being good, I walk around 140. But if I'm being bad, then if I get above 145, I'm just I'm struggling. So, anyway, I just was super unhealthy in college. And one day decided, after finishing my undergrad, I was I need to get back into shape. I need to do something. And I literally walked into this random gym on my way to work. I was waitressing tables. On my way to work, I was I always see this little gym. I'm just going to walk in there and see what happens. And the first person that I see in the gym is Liz Carmouche. She is working at the front desk, and Liz Carmouche is the current champion of Bellator. And anyway, long story short, I signed up, and just the rest was kind of history.
Wow. Well, what made you take that step to actually do it? Because a lot of times, people are thinking, oh, I'm so out of shape. I really gotta do something, work out, join a gym, eat healthier. But it's just talk a lot of times.
Yes.
What actually made you do it? Take that step?
Yeah, I think I was it's intimidating. It's very intimidating, especially if you're not comfortable. You don't feel comfortable. You're out of shape. You don't like the way you look. You don't know how to work out. It's very intimidating to take that next step. And I think that it definitely helped. I had some girlfriends that had trained there before, and they're oh, it's so fun. You should just come. And I'm no, I don't want to make a fool out of myself. They're no, trust me. It's a really cool gym. The environment is really awesome. Everybody's very welcoming. So I'm okay, I'll go check it out. And so, the first step is actually walking through those doors. Yeah. I know people that have literally parked in the parking lot and you just don't see them get out of their car because that's how nervous they are,
Yeah.
And so, but once you get in there, what kept me going back was actually one of the coaches, Manolo Hernandez. Manolo Hernandez is one of my head coaches to this day still. And the first class I took at that gym was an MMA class. And I was super ashamed. I was so out of shape. I couldn't even get through the warm-ups. And the warm-ups were we're stretching in the warm-ups. And I'm I can't do this. Oh my gosh. And he was so funny, so welcoming, and he really made me feel super special that I kept coming back. And he would like keep me accountable. You know, he's like, hey, where are you at? Are you coming to practice? And I just kept coming back. And he eventually asked, hey, you know, you're improving. Do you think you want to do a fight night? A fight night is basically where you just fight somebody else from the gym. So it's like low key, you know, it's smoker.
Like amateur, right?
Yeah, it's not even amateur. It's literally
okay.
like 1 minute rounds that whatever. It doesn't have to be like overseen by a sanctioned committee or anything. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll do a fight night. And I ended up winning that fight night. And then he's like, okay, let's do another one. But this time you're going to have to listen to all of my instructions. So we all know you're a wrestler and you want to take her down. But no, you're going to stay on your feet until I tell you to take her down. Okay. So I do that. I listen to all the instructions. I win. And then he's like, okay, do you want to do like an amateur fight against a different gym, like on the local circuit? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure. So I do a couple of fights on the amateur circuit. And pretty soon I had like pretty much like 9 amateur fights that I was actually doing all throughout my grad school. Mm-hmm. And once I finished grad school, I actually finished it a semester early. And that was when Manolo was like, well, you know, you're going to start looking for a career job pretty soon. Do you want to just have a professional fight, just like a bucket list kind of thing, so you can say? I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And so, yeah, I trained for that fight. I had it. It actually went viral.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, it went viral. And then Bellator ends up calling, and they're like, hey, we're going to start this new flyweight division for women. Would Ilima be interested in being a part of that first wave? And I remember the first people I called were my parents, because I'm like, hey, Mom and Dad, I know you just helped put me through school, but is it cool if I like take this fight, you know, or fight professionally for a little bit and just see what happens? And they were so supportive. They were like, you should do it now that you're young and healthy. That was when I was like 23, I think.
What year was this?
2013.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, 2015 was when I got signed with Bellator. Okay. So I started competing in 2013, got signed with Bellator 2 years later. And, you know, fast forward to 2017, and I'm like the champion. And I'm like, okay, crazy. Cool. Yeah, like good career move, Ilima. I guess we're still going to keep going.
Yeah.